The stadium was silent in a way that felt almost unreal. Not the empty silence of an abandoned place, but the heavy, expectant silence of thousands of people holding their breath at the same time. Every seat was filled. Every eye was fixed on the track. Even the wind seemed to pause, as if it understood that this moment mattered. This was not just another race. This was the race. On lane 4 stood a young man named Aaron, the fastest runner the nation had produced in a generation. His body was lean, powerful, built through years of sacrifice, discipline, and mornings that began long before the sun rose. He had trained for this day since he was a teenager, running in the rain, in the heat, through exhaustion and doubt. Every step of his life seemed to have led here. Today was the final one race, less than a minute. A lifetime of effort compressed into seconds. Aaron closed his eyes and breathed deeply. He could hear his heartbeat in his ears, steady but strong. Somewhere in the crowd, his father sat gripping the edge of his seat. Somewhere else, memories of early mornings, scraped knees, and whispered encouragements floated through Aaron's mind. Just before the referee raised the gun, Aaron spoke quietly to himself, a promise only he could hear. No matter what happens, I will finish this race. The gun fired. The sound cracked through the air, and the runners exploded forward like arrows released from a bow. For the first few seconds, Aaron felt unstoppable. His legs moved in perfect rhythm, powerful and smooth. The track blurred beneath him. His breath came easily. His body felt like fire, alive and responsive, and his heart thundered with confidence. This was exactly how it was supposed to feel. But halfway down the track, everything changed. Without warning, a sharp, tearing pain shot through his leg. It was sudden and brutal, like a lightning strike beneath his skin. His stride broke, his balance faltered. For a fraction of a second, his mind refused to accept what his body was telling him. Then he stumbled, and then he fell. The sound of his body hitting the track echoed louder than the gunshot had. A collective gasp swept through the stadium. The other runners surged past him, one by one, their spikes striking the ground, their dreams still intact as his shattered in real time. The race did not slow down for him. It never does. In seconds, they were gone, chasing medals and records, while Aaron lay on the track, staring at the sky. The dream he had chased for years collapsed in an instant. Pain pulsed through his leg, but the deeper pain settled in his chest. It was the pain of loss, of disbelief, of watching everything slip away when you were so close. Paramedics rushed toward him from the side of the track, their faces trained, professional, and concerned. The sensible choice was clear. The race was over. His body was injured. There was no reason to continue. But Aaron pushed himself up on his elbows and shook his head. "No," he said, his voice strained but firm. "I made a promise." The paramedics hesitated. The crowd watched in confusion. Slowly, painfully, Aaron forced himself to his feet. His legs screamed in protest. Every instinct told him to stop. But something deeper, something older than pain, pushed him forward. He took one step. It burned. He took another. Every movement felt like fire tearing through muscle and bone. His breathing grew heavy, each breath a reminder of his limits. He was no longer racing anyone else. He was racing doubt. He was racing fear. He was racing the part of himself that wanted to lie down and disappear. At first, the stadium didn't know how to react. The cheers had followed the leaders. Now there was only confusion and scattered whispers. But then someone began to clap. One slow, deliberate clap. Then another. The sound spread, growing louder, stronger, until the entire stadium rose to its feet. They were no longer cheering for speed. They were cheering for courage. Aaron barely heard them. His world had narrowed to the track beneath him and the finish line ahead. Each step was a decision. Each step was a refusal to quit. In the stands, his father watched with tears filling his eyes. He did not care about medals anymore. He did not care about rankings or records. What he saw before him was his son choosing character over comfort. "That's my boy," he whispered, his voice breaking. As Aaron limped forward, something inside him shifted. The pain did not disappear, but it changed. It became purposeful. It became meaningful. He remembered something his mother used to say when he was young, when he lost his first race and came home in tears. "Winning doesn't mean being first," she had told him. "It means never quitting." Those words echoed in his mind now. Step by step, Aaron approached the finish line. Time seemed to stretch. The race clock kept running, but it no longer mattered. When he finally crossed the line, long after the winner had been crowned, the stadium erupted. The sound was thunderous, raw, and full of emotion. Some people cried openly. Others stood in silent awe. Aaron did not win gold that day, but he won something far greater. He won respect. Later, during an interview, seated with ice wrapped around his injured leg, a reporter asked the question everyone was thinking. "Why didn't you stop? You were clearly hurt." There was nothing left to prove. Aaron smiled softly. "Because one day," he said, "I'll tell my children that I kept my promise. I'll tell them that when it hurt, when it would have been easier to quit, I finished what I started." Life is like that race. Sometimes everything is going perfectly, and then suddenly, without warning, something goes wrong. An injury, a failure, a loss, a moment that knocks you down when you least expect it. You stumble, you fall, and in that moment, you are faced with a choice. You can stay down, or you can get back up. What defines you is not how fast you run when everything is easy. It is how you respond when the pain hits, when the plan falls apart, when the finish line feels impossibly far away. Keep moving, keep believing, because the race is not over until you decide to stop running. And the promise you make to yourself may be the most important finish line you ever cross. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring English stories only on English Life Tales.